guys. A few weeks ago, Jen did What's in Our Camp Kitchen, and she mentioned at the time that eventually we would do a What's in Our Recovery Gear. So that's what we're doing today. This weekend we'll be going wheeling, so I'm getting stuff around, getting stuff put back together. It's all been kind of spread out because some of it was stuff I've been using for the Libertas rebuild. And so I've been kind of collecting it back in my travel gear and getting it together. So let's take a look at what we got. Part of recovery, sometimes, as I've found quite often with my TJ, don't mind Bailey chewing. He really loves chewing. But as I've found with my TJ, sometimes recovery is just getting the engine running again or getting a broken part fixed. And so part of recovery gear is tools. And let's take a look at what I got. Some of the stuff I carry. Now, it's not a complete list. I try and be as complete as possible, but I'm not. So hopefully there are other guys out there that try to be complete, and they may be missing something that I've got, or I may be missing something that they've got. One of the things I like to carry is an electrical multimeter, partially as a lineman. Electrical is just something to be aware of. Partially because the last time I went to the area we're going this weekend, I had electrical problems, and I did not have this with me. So, that has to go. I'm just going to be making a pile over here, and I guess putting it all back in my tool bag when I'm done. One thing I just grabbed kind of while I was down in the basement putting it together is a little hacksaw. Don't know if I'll need it, but I saw it, thought maybe that might be a good idea. A couple things that are really more for camping, but you never know. I mean, you're climbing under a vehicle, you might not be able to see well. A couple good work lights. Once again, also for camping, I was down there, I saw a spool of rope. Figured that'd be good for tents or whatever. But you never know when you're working on something if you might need to tie something up. There have been some pretty janky rig up jobs that have managed to get someone off a trail. Gloves, necessity. Not know what you're getting into, and you don't want to be greasy getting back in your vehicle afterward. Set of pliers. Just saw a pretty cool story about a set of pliers on an overland group. I couldn't tell the whole story, but it is good to have a set of pliers with you. Or three, in his case. I have a set of speed wrenches, and these are offset. Each one is a different size, and I've got a set of 5, so I've got 10 different sizes of common standard sizes. I don't have a metric set, but these are a ratcheting set, so as long as you can get this into position, it works great. I love these things. We use a similar type of tool at work, but much higher quality. These were the cheap Rural King ones. I think I got the set of 5 for $3, and they've earned their keep. I'll probably be seeing a few more of those. They get small. Let's see what else we got here. Flathead, Phillips head screwdriver. You never know. Maybe even a pry bar if you need to. C-clamp. I did consider bringing my larger C-clamp. I was weighing it out, and I probably should have, but this time I'm just taking the little one. As I've shown in previous videos, my favorite tool, 3/8 and 1/2 inch drive, extendable. So it's a breaker bar in and of itself, and the hammer, the head doubles as a hammer. It was actually designed for that. It's not me misusing a tool, just so you know. There's a similar one from the same company. I got them both at Tractor Supply, but it is swivel head, so if you're trying to get into a tight spot. Dead blow hammer. It's gotten some use, especially on the TJ project, but out on the trail this will work for both pounding tent stakes, and hopefully it doesn't get used for repairs, because I don't know, you ask me, getting down to needing a hammer for repairs, it's getting pretty touchy. Let's hope we don't need that this weekend, huh? Let's see. Tire plug patch or plug kit. This sat in the back of my Jeep all last summer while I had the top open and it was getting rained on, and my whole tool bag did. Thankfully, none of the tools really rusted, other than ones that were already rusty. But the package on this kind of died. I should probably just put it all in a Ziploc, I guess. But a tire plug kit. You puncture something on the side of the road, you might have a spare. Some people don't carry spares. I've never fully understood that with the spare tire delete. It's like you're counting on someone else to save you. But what happens if you puncture 2 tires? It's good to have a plug kit. These 2 tools I have had for years. I think in all the years I've had them, I've used one of them once. But they just seem like such a cool idea. They are an adjustable wrench. And this one's fully enclosed. So, I mean, it's kind of like a 6-point socket once you clamp it down. Seem like a great idea. But they're big, they're bulky. I don't know, I haven't had a good use for them yet, but I still, for some reason, carry them. Set of dogs or channel locks. I mean, if you've ever used channel locks, you know these things come in handy more often than they don't. Set of side cutters, and along with that I've got some spare speaker wire. So the time that I was up in St. Helen last, it was dead of winter. It was actually like record colds. We had -degree temperatures all weekend. And I was having some problems with a relay, and someone in the group happened to have some wire, and we bypassed the relay just long enough to get power to my fuel pump. And by doing that, I got off the trail. So ever since then, I've carried some spare wire and a set of side cutters too. Now I'll also be carrying a set of lineman's pliers, some Kleins, and I don't have them right now because they're actually in my tool bag at work. But as a lineman, I don't like to go places without them, especially somewhere where I want to have tools. So I'll be grabbing those when I leave on Wednesday and bringing them home to go in the tool bag. Set of vice grips. Like I said, I've seen some pictures of some pretty janky rigs that people have just clamped something together long enough to get them off the trail. Maybe this would be good for grabbing something that's rounded, or maybe it'd just be good for clamping down on something that needs to stay in place. These ones were kind of used for some of the welding on Libertas, so they have quite a bit of burn and spatter on them. This was still in my tool bag. Clear RTV silicone. Hopefully don't need that. So this is something I picked up recently, actually, after Covenant, the red Cherokee, the XJ. Had some problems on the side of the road. Jen came and rescued me. We ran to the parts store and grabbed a new vacuum port cap for a port that wasn't used. But at the time, I remembered that the TJ Libertas actually has a couple elbows that are getting pretty rough, and so I grabbed a package of elbows too. So I've got some vacuum elbows, so if anyone blows a vacuum hose, or not a hose but blows an elbow off, we can do this. I think there's even a splice or two in here, so if someone does blow a hose, we can splice it back together. Looks like it's just elbows, so maybe I should get a splice kit at some point. I've got several tools for deflating tires. And we also, in my Jeep, I've got a compressor on board, but in Jen's we've just got one of those little slime emergency air up kits, and maybe we'll use that if we do end up airing down. But as far as airing down goes, I've got a few different tools. I've got, let's see here, I've got a couple valve stem removers, and those things come in handy when you're trying to air down because it's a lot better than just pushing the valve and letting it out slow. This goes a lot quicker. They do make actual air down kits. There are various styles. Some of them you just screw it on and it just lets air out. Some of them you can actually set a PSI and it'll air it down to that point and stop. So it's all a matter of how much you want to spend and what kind of comfort and luxury you want. I do have several different pressure checkers for that as well. And a spare valve stem. You rip a valve stem off on the side of the trail, what are you going to do? Spare valve stem isn't a bad idea. One of the things I want to get in the future is there's a valve stem kit that you don't even have to break the bead off the rim. You put it in from the outside and it's like an emergency rescue valve. I want to get some of those in the future because breaking a bead off can cause problems trying to get it back on the side of a trail. Let's see here what else I've got. I do have a spare battery terminal. Once again, electrical gremlins can be a problem on the side of a trail, and that's not something you want to be caught unprepared. So an extra terminal in case anyone needs it. I don't actually need that in this kit, or probably that. This, hopefully once again, it's just a ridiculous side note, but it was in the bag. And I started thinking, you know, maybe there'd be some time that you could hold something together with this, hold something in place with this. I'll keep it. Got a couple different crescent wrenches here. I also have a big 15-inch crescent that I quite often carry as well, in case you need to break something. Haven't decided if I'll take that one this time or not. But it's a good one. Okay, we're getting down to, along with the electrical gremlin problems, electrical tape. Always got to have electrical tape on hand. Finn picks on me because she finds it all over the place. Bunch of butt splices, not great for, and a couple eye-ring eyelets too. Not great for automotive work, but in a pinch, it'll get you home. Found this in the garage the other day and thought, you know what? I could see a point where I might want a rubber band for something that just crazy might work. So I threw it in the bag. We'll find out. Hopefully not. I do have several very large sockets. One rather large 36 millimeter socket. I also carry a 28 millimeter, a 13/16. This one is actually mostly for my TJ because it's the only thing I have on hand to get my lug nuts off. 1 1/4 and 22 millimeter. I thought I already said a 22. Maybe I've got a couple of them in here. I know that might have been the 28. But these are all ones that I've used working on Jeeps in the past and were actually in some pretty common break points. So I figure they're probably handy to keep in the bag since I've got them. I've got several sets of Allen sets. Strange little pack of sockets that I've never used. I don't even know where it came from, but if anyone on the side of a trail needs some sockets, this is something I don't mind sending them home with just to make sure they get home. And I think that is about it for the bag. What have I got here? Some taillight bulbs. I don't know what those are doing in there. Okay, so that's it for the bag. From there I have a cheapy Amazon toolkit. This one will be eventually mounted in my TJ permanently when I build the toolbox. But that's kind of what its purpose is. It's not as nice as my at-home garage toolkit, but it does have a lot of the basics. And that screwdriver seems to have come out of place. The last tool that I carry, really, as far as wrenching on the Jeep's tools, is a set of Torx bit. Now these are external Torx and internal Torx and safety or security Torx. I guess not safety Torx. But if you've worked on Jeeps, you know they use tons of Torx bolts and nuts and screws and such. So this is handy. Okay, and that is it for wrenching stuff. But then the TJ has a winch. We do not have one on the Gladiator yet, so we've had to kind of try and figure out some ways to adapt if we had to. One of those being, and I carry this sometimes in the TJ too, just in case the winch goes down, but come along. I mean, it is technically a manual winch if you need it. Another thing, and this one requires a little more help from someone else, but a snatch strap. What a snatch strap is it's not a toe strap, and I've used it as a toe strap before. But a snatch strap is kind of superior to a toe strap in that a toe strap, or a chain, if you shock load it, you're going to damage your vehicle, and you're possibly going to break the strap for the chain, and you might send a chain through someone's windshield. It's just not good to shock load a toe strap. But a snatch strap is actually designed for that. It's got stretch in it. So when you hit the end, so you got someone stuck here, and this guy goes to pull out, and you got a lot of slack in the cable, you hit the end, it actually stretches and then pulls them, rather than just slamming to the end. And so snatch straps are handy. They're not the do-all, end-all. Some people seem to consider them that way, but in a pinch, they'll definitely do the job, and they're great. That one I actually made myself, so eventually I'd like to get one that's legitimate and that is rated, because it's done the job, but it doesn't have any kind of safety ratings or anything like that. Literally, I made that myself. Eventually I'd like to carry the chainsaw along with us, but in the meantime I've got two things. I've got my axe, and I have a bow saw. Those two, put some elbow grease into it, and you get to a point where the trail is blocked off by a downed log or something of the sort. You should be able to get yourself out. Now this bin is kind of a collection of a few things. Some of it's camping stuff, some of it's recovery stuff, so bear with me here. But we do carry a fire extinguisher. It's a little tiny fire extinguisher. I want to get a better one for both of our vehicles. But this one was in a budget moment. I needed one before we went to Moab, and I grabbed this little guy. Worst case, hopefully it'll at least put down some flames in the engine bay or something if someone needs it. Or maybe it'll get a start on something until someone can get their fire extinguisher handy. We've got a couple... Well, we've got several first aid kits along the way, because that is a form of recovery too. We've got a couple sets of rain gear, one each, I guess. And tree saver strap. If you use a winch and you don't know what a tree saver strap is, do some research, because your winch cable, not only if you wrap it around a tree and snap it to itself, you're going to damage your cable, you're going to damage the tree. Trees actually need their bark, and if you scratch all the bark off of one spot, that tree is most likely going to die. So a tree saver strap it's a nice thick strap that won't damage the tree. Wrap it around the tree, and then you can clip into both ends. Much better on the tree, and honestly, if you ask me, it makes it not only safer, but easier. And that may be about it for our recovery gear. We do have some tarps in here that are mostly for camping, but say you're out in some mud or snow. We used a tarp actually a couple times when I was broken down the last time I was in St. Helen, because it was super cold and it was snowy, and it was a way to kneel down or lay down on the ground and not be soaked the rest of the day at negative 10 degrees. So tarp or something of the sort. Actually, it might have been a piece of cardboard that I used. I don't remember what I took that day, but we're bringing tarps this time. And I believe that's it. So that is our recovery gear. Let us know in the comments if you have any other suggestions, if there was something that you had never thought of, that this just made a light bulb go off for you that you want in your trail gear. Otherwise, we have a trip coming up this weekend, so you probably won't see much of us. You might see a video before then, I'm not sure. But over the weekend, you won't see much of us, and then we will be gathering some footage, though. So next week, hopefully, we'll have some good trail side footage for you guys. Thanks for watching, y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The Lord bless you and keep you.